I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive.
Thank you, Simon. I got to bring you on the road with me.
I feel like
How's everybody doing?
I shoot a shot.
So I'm going to be a little more loud and a little more energetic than the first two speakers for one reason. You're eating. And so since you're eating, the goal, Bob is going to come up and talk about goals. The goal is not to fall asleep while I'm speaking. Okay, that's the goal. So everybody understand, we're all going to be goal-driven today. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I thank you for the introduction, Simon. I am Willie Spears. I work for Disney and learned so much, and I like to share that with other businesses. What a great company. I served as a manager in restaurants back in the day, and in sales and in business. I've worked 20 years in education as an administrator and as a leader. And what I've learned most is everything rises and falls on leadership. I was talking to Steve over here, who used to work with WAR. It's very simple. If I go somewhere and I see that it's jacked up, the leadership is not doing a good job. It's that simple. I once told someone, if I see rat droppings in a corner, I don't need to see the mouse. I know that a mouse has been here. So when I see things done well here today, it's very obvious there's great leadership with the Studer Community Institute. And so think about that. Your culture is already speaking for you before you meet your customer. It speaks very loudly. I want to commend you all for being here today, because I believe an organized, assertive communicator is usually the best leader. You being here today says a lot about professional development. What we feed and what we nurture will grow. And so I go around to different companies and I do personal presentations, one-on-ones, but I do a lot of professional development for different companies. And so I want to let you know today, if you sign up for our professional development, you'll get a 50% discount. You can check that out on williespears.com. Also, today, we want to let you know what we're going to be presenting is going to be short and sweet. It's going to be like a movie trailer. In order to get the whole movie, you're going to have to get in contact with us. So this is a trailer, and if you see the trailer and you like it, make sure you link up with us at williespears.com. So today, we're going to be talking about the importance of being a great manager, okay? So if you're cooking dinner tonight, you have to make a plan for that dinner, all right? If I ask you right now, what do you want for this great place we've eaten these subs from, these sandwiches from, you probably know your order at your favorite restaurant. You know your order at Chick-fil-A. You know your order at Subway by heart. Many times we have a plan for a sandwich, but we don't have a plan for growth in our business. Yesterday, I was blessed to be on the beautiful St. Andrews Bay in Panama City. I wrote a book called Who Was Hawk Masalina? It's my great-grandfather. He was the first African-American man to settle in Panama City back in the 1800s. His best friend was a guy named George Mortimer West. George Mortimer West gave Panama City, Florida, its name. These two individuals were best friends. In February of 1889, they fished together for the very first time on St. Andrews Bay. Yesterday, his great-great-granddaughter, Margaret, and myself, we reenacted that event 132 years and 2 months later. The reason we did that, we thought it was important. I went home after we caught some fish, and we saw a dolphin. It was really exciting. We caught some fish, we caught some mackerel and some bluefish. I cooked the fish. I also had cheese grits with the fish, because I'm from the South. Had some broccoli, because I'm trying to eat right and live a long time. Wasn't as good as the cheese grits. And I didn't have hush puppies because I don't know how to make hush puppies, but I wish I had some hush puppies. I also had corn on the cob because I love good old corn on the cob. I had a plan for a meal. I want to encourage you to have a plan, to have a significant, intentional plan for your business. When you're hiring, do you have a plan or do you wing it? Do you hire your buddies? Well, she was in my sorority. He was in my fraternity. You know, his dad grew up in the same place my dad grew up. I really like his outfit. Do you have a plan for hiring, or are we just trying to figure it out as we go? These are the 4 C's I use when hiring. I've been in several leadership positions where I had to hire. I've been in several educational settings where I had to hire. In entertainment, where I had to hire. In business, where I had to hire. And so what I learned a long time ago is I cannot use my emotions as part of the hiring process. He walked in with a Florida hat on. I'm a big Florida fan. Or I looked at their Facebook page and, ooh, they visit the same place my family visit every summer. It must be meant to be. Has nothing to do if they're going to be a good fit for our company or not. And so we use these 4 simple C's. The first C is competent. Do they know the stuff? There are certain jobs, if you don't know the basics, you're not the right person for the job. I can ask you one question and tell if this is what you do for a living or you're just trying to get a job because of the salary or the location. If they're not competent, you're going to have a great problem on your hand trying to get them where you want them to be. There's nothing wrong with training employees, but there's nowhere in the world you should put someone in the Tour de France who has never ridden a bicycle in their life. The second thing is character. We want people with high character. You don't have to be a Sunday school teacher, but we don't want you on Facebook on spring break when you're 45 years old, telling us how great you are. Everybody's saying, go, go, go. No, no, no. You're not the person for us. And so we're going to look at your social media page. We're going to call your past employer. We're trying to find out. We're investing time and energy in you. We're investing a great benefit package in you. We're investing a lot. And so we want to make sure we get a return on our investment. The next one is calling. We want to make sure you know you're supposed to be in this field. I was working as an administrator at a school once, and I was evaluating a teacher. We call it check-ins. And she said, you know what? I just don't like kids. I said, you're in the wrong business, baby. You can't not like kids and you're a teacher. No, but I'm really smart. Well, you need to write textbooks. You don't need to teach kids. And so calling is part of it. You need to know I'm called to this profession. If you don't like the sight of blood, don't go into the medical profession. It's important that you understand that this is a calling for me. I'm supposed to be doing this with my life. The last C is chemistry. You may be a great person. You may be nice. You may be funny. But when you walk in, everybody gets mad. You're the loudest person in the room. You always have to be right. You always one-up everybody's story. Someone says, yeah, yesterday I was walking, I found $20. Yeah, last week I found $40. Okay. We weren't talking to you. That person disrupts the chemistry. Don't hire that person. A lot of people are hiring. They don't get another job. So make sure these 4 C's, they help me to make sure we try to hire the right person. Firing people is very difficult. Very difficult. But it's part of it. This is the springtime. It's time to prune. You want your yard to look great? You got to cut some of those trees back. Growth does not happen unless pruning happens. And so I have it set up in jobs that I've worked in. It's set up that we're going to make a change in this area every 3 years. We're going to make a change so people know I need to work hard. So when they do make a change, at least I get moved somewhere else. So how do you fire people? Do you go in and say, hey, I'm the boss, you're not the boss, you're fired? That doesn't work. That word's going to spread. No one's going to want to work for you. How do you get rid of someone? Well, you got to have a plan. What's your pruning plan? Number 1, document. Document everything. When they're late, Amanda talked about this. If they're late to work, I believe Becky talked about it as well, then you need to document it. Don't just follow in your own brain. And then months later, you try to get rid of them and you say, you were late 3 times last month. They're going to say, when? I don't remember. When you email, there's a time and date stamp on that documentation. Doesn't have to be mean, just direct and to the point. Great leaders are not passive. Great leaders are not aggressive. Great leaders are assertive. And if you're assertive, you're right to the point. There's no fluff. This is what it is. This is the bar. You didn't meet the bar. This is the standard. The standard is you show up at 8 o'clock. You get here at 8:05 every day. But let me tell you, I got 2 little children. I understand that. We need to talk about changing the standard, or we need to talk about you working somewhere else. And changing the standard goes back to what Becky talked about, how important it is to understand people's different currency and what's important to them. And when you do that, they find out exactly what was said earlier, that we don't care how much you know until we know how much you care. But document everything. Then evaluate. Have constant evaluations. Don't wait till something gets done wrong and then want to have a meeting with everyone. Don't wait till things go bad and then you say, you know what, we're having a meeting next week. Now everyone knows every time we meet, something bad has happened. Instead, have constant, consistent evaluations. I spoke to a Navy outfit once, and this administrator was very upset with what was going on. They had a very important piece of equipment that had to be tested twice a day. They had 2 shifts of workers, and both workers signed off as if they tested it. Well, there was a tie on there that had to be cut off from the safety inspection. For 6 months, this piece of equipment went unchecked because the person that came in saw the signature and said, I don't need to check it because he checked it. The next person said, well, I don't need to check it because he checked it. Then the next, And so what happened for 6 months, this important piece of equipment did not get checked. That's a failure in leadership. And if evaluation was taking place, that would have been discovered much earlier. So I want to encourage you to have constant evaluation. And when you have evaluation, it's not to catch someone messing up. It's not to say, I got you. I knew you weren't doing the right thing. No, it's to say, I caught you doing the right thing. Congratulations. Keep up the good work. But every once in a while, they're going to go below the standard. And we need to let them know that. Number 3 is empathy. If you get rid of somebody, you're getting rid of them and their family. It's going to hurt. Be empathetic, because it could be you one day. I have friends who own businesses who, I don't want to say they were arrogant, but they were very sure of themselves until the pandemic hit. Then all of a sudden, this person that had all this business didn't have any business at all. This person that was so sure of this money flow coming in, it changed overnight. And so this strategy is just having empathy, realizing that you're getting rid of their benefit package. Them losing their job may cause them to lose their life insurance and their health insurance and their dental insurance and their vision for the little child. So have some empathy, but understand it's not personal. When I coached college ball and high school ball for many years, and I love the analogies that Becky used in coaching. But when I coached, I would tell our parents, you have one picture on your refrigerator. You have your little son, Johnny. That's all you got. He's smiling. Oh, Johnny. On my refrigerator, I have the whole team. I have to do what's best for the team, not what's best for Johnny. As a manager, as a leader, as a CEO, as a president, your job is to do what's best for the company, not what's best for the individual. Sometimes that can be hard, but if you weren't prepared for the job, then you wouldn't be in the position. The last one is pair resentment with an appreciation. Pair resentment with an appreciation. I've been married for almost 18 years because I've mastered this one principle. I pair resentment with an appreciation. Yes, the grits are burnt, but I don't lead with, baby, the grits are burnt. I lead with, this sausage is awesome, and I love these biscuits. And you picked the right jam to go on these biscuits. And I can't believe it's not butter either. This is absolutely awesome. But I will say, honey, that maybe we can cook the grits a little bit slower than before. Are you saying the grits are burnt? I didn't say that, baby. I didn't say that. I said you were hot and you were great at cooking eggs, biscuits, and you picked the right jam. Oh, and by the way, the grits could be turned down a little bit. Find a way to find something they do well and put that with something they don't do so well. Growth. How do you plan to grow in your business? How are you going to grow? If there's no plan for growth, then you're in the wrong business. We all want to grow. Sports teams want to win. Businesses want to grow. I was in a Zoom call the other day with 190 other people. It was a true honor. Dan Cathy, the president of Chick-fil-A, talked to us. And then I was blessed to be in a small group with he and 4 other people. I learned more in that 1 hour Zoom call than I've learned in years of going to school. They have this strategy and formula to how they provide fast service. He broke it down for us. And it was so fast I didn't get it all, but I screenshot it. I screenshot everything. My phone is full of screenshots of him talking in his PowerPoint presentation. But he said it's not an accident that we're efficient. He said it's not an accident, and he talked about growth. So what's your growth plan, your prosperity plan? Do you have a growth trajectory? What we do at the Willie Spears Experience, we have a thing, it's very simple, it's called the growth track. And I break down 12 ways for your business to grow. It talks about goals, it talks about evaluation, it talks about expectations, it talks about themes, it talks about mission statements, it talks about making your vision stick. Nike's vision statement is not just do it, but that's what we know. And it sticks. What's going to be your vision statement? How are you going to make it stick? How are you going to communicate effectively to everyone in your organization? Everyone doesn't check emails like they should. That's just the truth. So how do you fix that problem? Great leaders find a way. Number 2, what is your quantitative data? What gets measured gets done. I worked as a personal trainer years ago, and I had one young lady said, I don't like getting on the scale, but I can just tell I'm losing weight. How can you just tell you're losing weight? It's easy to say you have success. Just compare yourself to something that's worse. If you want to feel thin, stand by somebody that's a little bit thicker than you. When I played football, I wanted to feel thick, so I was around somebody that was thin. That's not true growth. True growth is a measurement. We know I step on the scale tells me the truth. Now, my wife says the scale does not tell the truth. She says, it's a liar. She screams at everyone, you're a liar. You're lying to me. And I'm like, man, how does she know? An old lady once told me, your name is Willie. I said, I know that. She says, your name spells will lie. Your wife should have knew that when she married you. Some of y'all in your head like W-I-L. The next one is qualitative data. This is a data that does not have a number assigned to it. How do you accumulate this data? I want to encourage you to get data from your customers, data from your peers, and data from those who are above you. That way we can get a true sense of if we're having success or not. And the last one is humility. It's important when you're prosperous to have humility. There's this old story in the Bible about 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. I don't care how good you are in business, ask Enron. One day it may drop off. One day it may fall. So be humble while you're doing good. Remember the New England Patriots? They were so good. This year they didn't even make the playoffs. That Tom Brady must be pretty special. Have humility when you're being prosperous. What about rain? The rain is coming in your business. You need to know that. It's going to rain. It's sunshiny today. When I worked for Disney, it would say, and I worked on a cruise ship for Disney, and I was one of the supervisors, and I worked in entertainment, and they would get on the PA every morning, and they would give you the weather report. And if it was going to rain, that means it's going to be a bad cruise. I don't care how funny I was. I don't care how much good the music is. I don't care how Mickey Mouse come out there and do jumping jacks. If it rains, you had a bad cruise, and you're blaming us. You're not blaming God. You're blaming us. So they would get on there in the morning. They would say, today is a 30% chance of sunshine here at Disney. And people would be like, yes, I knew it was going to be a great day. No, it means a 70% chance of rain. It's going to rain. You are in control of your perspective. You're not in control of how people respond, but you're in control of how you respond. So it will rain. So what's your plan for when it rains? Something's bad is going to happen. You must have a plan for when something bad is going to happen on your job. What is your plan? Smart people plan for the future. If we're going to wait till it happens to come up with a plan, that's not very smart. What's going to be your plan for shelter? You've heard there's going to be an event outside. If it rains, we're going to move it inside. What's going to be your plan for shelter? My grandmother took an umbrella everywhere she went. It's 90 degrees outside. It's hot. There's not a cloud in the sky. She has an umbrella. I said, Granny, why do you have an umbrella? She says, baby, I've lived long enough to know just because it looks sunny now don't mean it's going to be sunny all day. She's lived through the rain. Who was prepared for coronavirus? No one. There's not one person that can say, I knew this was coming. I was ready for it. I bought me some masks years ago. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. So something else is coming that you're not ready for. I'm from Panama City, Florida. When Hurricane Michael hit, everybody was wrong. It's going to hit the beach. It's going to be a Category 3. No, it hit the city, and it was a Category 5. And we still have not recovered. We still have not. I used to work at Po Folks Restaurant back in the day. One of the managers there, he was Facebook Live when it was tore down, so they were just taking all the debris away. And he was crying. I said, man, Bobby a wuss. What is he crying? It's just a restaurant. Then I came in town, I drove by that restaurant, and I started crying because I had a lot of great memories there. No one saw that storm coming. You must prepare yourself and have a change of clothes because it's going to rain. I want to tell you that it's important to have a plan. It's important to know how to hire. It's important to know how to fire. And it's important to love on people. Relationships is the number one takeaway from any conference, if you ask me. If you build relationships with people and they know it's not personal, this is my job. I've had to get rid of my friends. This is my job. It's not personal. One guy told me, it's personal to me. And I gave him the documentation. I said, this is personal to me. When you did not meet the standard, it was personal for all of us. And so I want to encourage you all to come by this table. I brought a few of my books. It would be great talking to you all. I think I seen one person that fell asleep. Ma'am, it's okay. I'm not upset with you. I saw you nod off twice. I'm like, wow, that's messed up. You right in the front row. But other than this young lady, everybody else, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Rachel.